entrepreneur was never on my bucket list. I came to it through a series of happy accidents, which is why I always call myself an accidental entrepreneur. It all began in 1972 at an employment agency in Boston. The recruiting manager began her interrogation of me. Can you type? No. Can you take shorthand? No. Can you do 10 key by touch, run a switchboard, do key punch? No, no, and no. Why was she asking me all these clerical questions? I had a bachelor's degree in filmmaking from Boston University, and I came there to find a job in my field. This woman apparently found me woefully unqualified for any of the jobs that were in her Rolodex in the film industry. Now, for those of you who were born before 1995, let me tell you what a Rolodex is. It's one of those, it's a prehistoric paper card rolling database. You can Google it. Anyway, she looked at me and said, well, what can you do? And I looked her square in the eye and said, I could do your job. And she said, well, let's see. So the next day, with no guidance, no manual, no instruction, she handed me a stack of applications and that massive Rolodex and told me to get to work. I had a plan. I was going to raid that Rolodex and snag for myself one of those film jobs that she was not going to send me to. But something unexpected happened. I found my passion. I loved connecting people, and it seemed I was pretty damn good at it. The irony did not escape me that 4 years of film school could not land me a job renting VHS tapes at Blockbuster Video, but it did start my career in recruiting. Fast forward to Portland, Oregon, where I moved with my college boyfriend, later husband. We wanted to start a family, and he was a fifth-generation Oregonian, and like a salmon, he felt compelled to return to his birthplace to spawn. The recruiting scene in Portland was very different than what I found in Boston. In Boston, the employers paid the fees for people to get jobs. In Portland, applicants paid for their own fees for the most part. And I was philosophically opposed to this. There were only 2 agencies in town where the employers paid the fees. And I interviewed with both, and by a stroke of luck, I went to work for the one that did not go bankrupt 3 months later. I was on a roll. Everything was going really well until the recession of 1982. And my commission-only income felt about as stable as a kite in a hurricane. My marriage was also struggling. We decided that it was a good idea for me to take a leave of absence from my job and be a stay-at-home mom. What felt like a career setback became really a blessing of a gift of time with my children. 2 years later, my husband left me to follow Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. Yes, that Rajneesh. Now, I will pause and let you take that in. You got this? Okay. So it was time for me to go back to work. And when I did, I found that there was someone sitting in my chair. And not only was she sitting in my chair, but she'd taken over all my clients. And not only had she taken over my clients, but she built relationships with them, strong relationships with clients that had been my clients, relationships that had been my relationships. And I was very concerned about the fact that these people had pledged their loyalty to me previously, and it was no longer. Her name was Diane Boly. Everyone expected that there would be a bloodbath of competition between us. But to everyone's surprise, we became a dynamic duo. we decided to pool our efforts and split everything 50-50. In doing this, we more than tripled our billings. This collaboration in 1985 made us the top billers at Murphy, Simmons & Stoll. Everything was going great. We were making great money, and we were advised that we should probably put together a retirement plan or something so that we could save something for the future. And we agreed, and we went to our boss, and we asked him to put together a 401k plan. He balked at the idea because the startup cost was $1,300, and that was too steep for him. So we got creative, and we suggested to him that we become independent contractors under the umbrella of his agency. And really the status of whether we were independent contractors or whether we were employees was pretty irrelevant because we were totally committed to him, to the company. We were very loyal. We were going to be working there forever. 3 years later, there was a turning point. Now, let me back up a little bit, and this is foreshadowing, my filmmaking, foreshadowing. Okay. I have always been a vivid dreamer. And Diane would humor me by letting me tell her my dreams every morning at our morning board meeting. And by the way, our board meeting meant that Diane and I met at a whiteboard, and I told her my dreams. So one day I told her a dream I had of a little leprechaun. And this leprechaun was shouting the name of our company. Murphy, Simmons & Stoll, it's got my name on it. Now, this leprechaun had a very distinct face, not one that I recognized, but it was very clear to me what this face was. 2 months later, an article comes out in the Portland Business Journal in the People on the Move section. And there's a picture of a man. And I said to Diane, this man looks just like the leprechaun in my dream. It said that the article said that he was a partner at Arthur Andersen. Now, you young'uns may want to Google that too, because it's no longer. But at the time, it was the oldest and largest CPA firm in the world. But that was before the Enron scandal, and that's also Googleable. Okay, so it said that he was leaving to form a venture of his own. And his name was, wait for it, Brian Murphy. Remember the leprechaun said, Murphy, Simmons & Stoll, it's got my name on it? Is it possible that he's going to buy our company? A week later, we found out that's exactly what he did. Now, to say that he was not a nice guy would be a gross understatement. He was one nasty little leprechaun. And he wanted to take our contracts, rip them up, and turn us back into his employees. Diane and I, in unison, said, hell no, and we headed for the door. The company receptionist and secretary said, we're going with them. Our clients, our candidates, and our receivables came along with us. We went down the street to my favorite building at the time, sadly now in foreclosure, but the Jackson Tower, the wedding cake building overlooking Pioneer Square, and we took a floor. And Boly Welch was officially born on that day. We wanted to build a company that we wanted to give our employees the kinds of things that we wanted when we were employees, single moms working for someone else. And so the first thing we did is we set up a 401k plan, and we contributed to it. But it didn't end there. We encouraged collaboration over competition, and fun and flexibility were part of our core values. We wanted to bring our full selves to our work, and we wanted our employees to be able to bring their full selves as well. We also wanted them to bring their dogs and their kids, and they did. This focus on people led to loyalty, long tenures, and wild shared success. I learned I learned that connecting people and building relationships came very easily to me, and I learned that in 1972, and I confirmed that over the span of a 50-year career. All of the successes that I've achieved came from things that were not planned. I didn't get the job I wanted, but I found an amazing career. My attempt to get my boss to give us a 401k plan fell through, but we became independent contractors. The unexpected sale from under us of our company catapulted us into business. Maybe there aren't really any accidents, just opportunities in clever disguises. Thank you.